I used to believe something that kept me stuck for a long time. I thought I needed rehab first before I could change. I thought I needed a program or a facility, a reset, or some perfect moment where everything finally lined up, and then I'd get my life together. But that belief, it delayed everything because it made me think freedom was always somewhere else, somewhere I hadn't reached yet. And if you're listening to this right now and you're stuck in addiction or craving or relapse cycles, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need rehab first to start changing your life. You need honesty first. Because rehab doesn't create surrender. I remember sitting in that cycle, thinking I had to get bad enough before I could qualify for help. Like I needed to hit some invisible rock bottom that would finally just justify getting serious. But addiction doesn't work like that. It convinces you there's always time. One more day, one more night, one more promise you don't keep. And slowly, without noticing, those one mores become a lifestyle. Not a moment, but a pattern. And here's what I didn't understand back then. You don't wait for life to collapse before you change it. You change it before it collapses. Because addiction doesn't announce the final crush ahead of time. It's not a revolving door. It just quietly takes pieces of you until you wake up one day and realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. I used to think rehab was the starting line, but now I see something different. Rehab is a tool, not the requirement. Recovery doesn't start in a building. It starts with a decision. A moment where you stop negotiating with a thing that's been controlling you. That moment can happen anywhere. In your car, in your bedroom, at 2 a.m. when nobody's watching, or even right now while you're listening. Because the real turning point isn't location, it's surrender. And surrender is not weakness. It's the first moment of strength you actually used in a long time. I want to be honest with you about something most people won't say. Addiction feeds on delay. It loves tomorrow. It loves after this week. It loves when I get help. Because as long as help stays in the future, nothing changes today. And today is where the battle actually is. Not next month. Not after a program. Not after things calm down. Today. So what do you do if you're stuck right now? You start where you are, not where you wish you were. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need a treatment center to begin telling the truth. You don't need a counselor in front of you to admit, I can't keep doing this. That sentence alone is powerful enough to start a shift. Because addiction grows in silence. But it is weakened when it's exposed. Even if nobody else hears it. Even if It's just you and God in a quiet moment where you finally stop pretending. And I know there's fear in that, because admitting it means you can't unsee it anymore. But that's actually where freedom begins. Not when everything is fixed, but when everything is finally honest. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying rehab isn't valuable. It can absolutely save lives. It can give structure, accountability, medical support, and community. But what I'm saying is this: don't use the absence of rehab as an excuse to stay stuck. Because the first step is available to you right now, right here, without permission, without waiting, without approval. You can choose truth today. You can choose to pause the pattern today. You can choose to reach out today. You can choose to stop feeding the cycle today. And if you don't feel strong enough yet, you can still decide not to agree with the lie for one more day. That's how recovery begins. Not in perfection, but in interruption. One interrupted cycle at a time. And I want you to hear this part very clearly. You are not as far gone as your mind tells you. Addiction exaggerates hopelessness. It makes you think you've crossed a point of no return. But that's not the truth. That's chemical chaos mixed with emotional exhaustion. And both of those can change, one decision at a time. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'll get help later, I want to challenge that gently. Why not now? Not perfectly, not dramatically, not with everything figured out, but honestly. Because the life you're waiting for on the other side of someday is already trying to reach you today. And the only thing standing between you and that first step is the belief that you have to wait for permission. You don't. You never did. So if this is your moment, even in the smallest way, don't ignore it. Don't postpone it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Just take the next right step, whatever that is for you. And understand this: rehab doesn't create the beginning of your recovery. Your decision does. And that decision can start right now. Go binge the content on my channel. We can't get out of the ditch alone.